The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
Hello, welcome to
More Dakka!
More Dakka! Yeah, one of the detachments that GW saw fit to grace upon us is an Ork shooting infantry detachment.
Tactical brigade nerfs, Jack. Tactical brigade nerfs.
Yeah, the biggest tactical brigade nerf isn't even the fact you can't stealth and +1 to hit anymore. It's that this detachment is powered.
Wow.
All right, so one of the 4 detachments that GW came out with is called More Dakka, and it is an Ork shooting detachment. So it's pretty good, man. I'm not going to bury the lead. It's a pretty good detachment. If you want to hear even more about it, maybe you want to hop in our international Discord and talk to people in our Orks channel right now. They are cooking, hard at work, cooking how to shoot you as hard as possible. Or you want to see a game, and the game goes out on Friday between me and John's Death Watch with More Dakka. Then you want to sign up to the War Room, thewarroom.vhx.tv. There's a free 3-day trial down the link below. You can check that out.
Yep. In addition, if you like this particular content piece, if you would like, maybe leave a comment. Tell us what units you are most excited about shooting off the table with your outlandish Ork guns.
All right. Well, let's jump on this with both feet, huh?
Yeah. Oh boy.
So More Dakka is very well named. It is so the detachment rule is Dakka, Dakka, Dakka.
That makes sense.
Yeah. During your shooting phase, ranged weapons equipped by Ork infantry and walker models from your army have sustained hits 2.
That's really good.
That is like a whole number higher than it had to be. I'm going to be real with you.
If it was sustained hits 1, it would be a fantastic ability.
Yes.
Sustained hits 2 is like stupid. It's
sustained hits 2 it's just
dumb.
too much.
It's like mathematically +2 to hit.
Yeah.
It means Orks are hitting on 3s.
It's also exactly what Orks what needed, right?
Yeah.
Is because they already hit on 5s and 6s.
So
why not double the output of tank bustas? Why not triple the output of ludas? And then a lot of these things, like some of these things have rerolls. Like ludas have full rerolls to hit for them and the attached character. So it just doubles the damage output of shock attack gun. It doubles the damage output of tank bustas. It's plus 50% to the damage output of flash gits.
Yeah.
It's triple the damage output of ludas. It is a ridiculous damage buff.
I think so. But there's some units this is literally triple the damage.
Yeah, and you're going to take those.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
You're going to take them. It also applies to walkers, so you can...
Killicans and stuff.
Killicans can go from hitting on 4s to functionally hitting on 2s, which is... it's pretty good. The Stompa does ridiculous stuff. I mean, it's probably overcosted. It's a Stompa. But like the Gorkanaut, Morkanaut also benefit from this. But really, it's like tank bustas, ludas, and stuff are just going to pop off.
You can fit in a list 18 tank bustas, 30 ludas, 30 flash gits, and still have points left over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot of guns.
But that's not all, Jack. There's also...
there's a second part to the detachment rule. During the law, those same models...
Have assault
on their shooting weapons.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a thing that Orks just did not have access to before.
No, they sure did give it like 2 of the best buffs in the game.
Yeah. And assault, I mean, they did it in the order as well that like Orks would love, which is always having sustained hits too.
Yep.
And then once a game, you're like, you know what, my whole army is just going to advance and shoot.
They should have swapped these.
I'm not going to get into what they should or should not have done with this detachment. Some things decisions were made. I mean, but it just means this army shoots relentlessly hard.
So hard.
I mean, in that game, spoiler alert, I did have 10 ludas and a Sagmech from 24 inches away kill an entire 10-man Indomitor kill team.
That's ridiculous. It's a very durable unit.
Yeah, and I didn't use any of the strats or
That's
anything.
nuts.
Yeah. The army just shoots incredibly, incredibly hard.
You also have a million things, and it's fast, and it charges you and fights it in combat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got Dagobshot Thunderbuss. Orc model, ranged weapons equipped by the bear have devastating wounds and hazardous. It's not bad. Not bad.
It's fine.
Not bad.
Yeah.
You're going to get a decent amount of hits, but oftentimes they're high AP.
Yeah. The best use case would be like a Sag Mech, but he's AP 5. So like,
He's AP 5 with the Pulsar Rock, AP 4 otherwise. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Got Dead Shiny Shooters. This one's the most expensive one for good reason. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the bear's unit get rapid fire 1.
That's good.
That is incredible on a unit of tank busters, because ordinarily you have 5 guns with a rocket pistol on the sergeant, right? Or on the knob. That's 5 extra shots. But instead of taking the pulsar rocket, because you can duplicate the effect of the pulsar rocket with like strats and stuff, you take an extra rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So now you have 6. And then instead of the tank hammer, the knob takes 2 rocket pistols. And suddenly you have 9 guns in this 7-man unit that are all getting +1 shot.
With sustain 2.
With sustain 2.
That's insane.
The unit rocks up. If it gets blast, it is an average of 4 shots a gun. So like 28 shots plus the character's 32 shots, because the character also gets it.
Yeah, it's
like wildly too many shots.
Yeah. And they're like good shots too.
Yes.
Yeah, these are not like crappy shots. These are like, what are they, like 10-3, 10-2-3?
9-2-3 +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles. A +1 to hit against monsters and vehicles. The character's 9-2 D6. You can up that AP2 and you can give it ignores cover if you really want.
I mean, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it's
okay.
Hilarious. Target and squigs. Every time a model in the bear's unit makes a range attack, +1 to hit. And this one isn't that expensive.
This sure was exactly what orcs wanted.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, you can honestly, you probably give that to a Sag Mech and a squad of Ludas.
Probably.
And then they just hit on 5s.
Yep, they sure do.
Full rerolls to hit against objectives.
Seems with sustain 2?
Yes.
And assault?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool,
and then the Sag Mech hits on 4s. Yeah, you probably do.
You probably do that, yeah.
And then Zogoth and Itadaka. Orc model, bear's unit is eligible to shoot after falling back.
Oh, but I can tag these guys, right?
Yeah, you probably don't take this one, because the odds that's the unit that gets tagged is fairly low. Whereas the other ones are proactive, but it's not a bad enhancement.
I mean, they're all good, right? You probably just take targeting squigs and the rapid fire one.
Yeah, and just do more damage, more Dakka.
Do you want to super shots now, or?
I was just gonna get them all at the end.
Okay.
We've got we're not gonna miss your super chats. Those are all gonna be covered at the end. We've got some stratagems. You wanna lead us off?
Orcs is still orcs. Use this in the fight phase. It's 1 CP. You pick any orcs unit. And you get real ones to wound in combat. Or if your enemy's touching an objective marker, fully rolls to wound. It's a real good strat.
It's a really good...
That is a phenomenal strat.
Yeah, this army's kind of weak in melee.
Let's
comparatively.
Fix that.
Let's just give you full rerolls to wound.
Is this the best melee strat orcs have access to?
Crit 5s might be better.
I mean...
I don't know their like unused detachments that much. But yeah, it probably is.
Yeah.
Full rerolls to wound is hella good. Mm-hmm. All right. Then we got the next one.
Get stuck in, lads.
I know you love this one.
Why is this a thing, Jack? Anyways.
Read it. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
In your command phase, you pick any orcs unit, and it is in the WA. So,
which specifically does trigger any WA abilities that are in effect while the WA is active for your army.
Yep.
So the number one beneficiary of this, obviously, is Zodgrod. Zodgrod is possibly the best unit in the book with this stratagem at his fingertips, because you just always have the ability to send this giant 20-man unit out with every buff under the sun, possibly give them reroll wounds against an objective, take every objective on your opponent's side, tie them down, beat them up, and just wet blanket them while the rest of your army like motors up, drops guys out, shoots them to death. You tie up like 5 units with Zodgrod's unit, steal an objective, pass turn back, and your opponent spends their entire turn digging their way out of Zodgrod, and then you just shoot him again.
Let's take a minute to stop and click. This is 1 CP, advance and charge, advance and shoot, 5 up in vuln, +1 attack, +1 strength in combat. That is 1 command point.
Yes.
Any single part of that would be a good strat.
Yeah.
Advance and charge, detachment defining strat. 5 up in vuln, good strat. +1 strength and attack in combat, good strat. Like assault, good strat.
Yes.
It's 1 CP for all of those buffs.
It's all of them. The one downside is that a lot of the time your dudes are going to be in trucks where you can't use this strat on them. So timing it properly where your units are on the table when you want to use this, or having certain units somewhere, is going to be good. But I mean, like, what are we
This is
talking about?
ridiculous.
This
strat.
is ridiculous.
We're 2 for 2 on like banana strats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, huge show-offs. In your command phase, you pick a walker unit other than Killicans. Until the start of your next command phase, +1 move, leadership, objective control, and every time it makes an attack, +1 to hit.
This is a good strat, but none of the walkers are like that impactful.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would use it if you have a Stompa.
Yeah.
But, like, it only lasts for a turn. Are you spending 5 CP on this?
Probably not.
Probably not. But it's not, like, it's not great.
No, it's not great.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's move on to other incredible stratagems.
Long, uncontrolled bursts. At the start of your shooting phase, you pick one Orc's character from your army, and then you select an enemy unit within 18 of your Orc's character. Until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by Orc models from your army have ignores cover.
That is an insane strat.
This is ludicrous.
That might even, I think that is going to, in context,
Be
in this
better than
detachment,
the wall one.
I think this is better than any of the other ones.
This is like pick a target, 1 CP +1 AP.
Yes, a thing that orcs need.
Like, what are we doing?
Ludas, great. What do they suffer from? Low AP. No, they don't. There you go.
Tank busters. Oh, they're AP too. No, they're not.
They're yeah, you can get tank busters up to AP4 if you have a pulsar rocket and long uncontrolled bursts and special shells, which is the next one. You can get up to AP4 ignores cover. But realistically, what you do is you don't stack it that much.
No, you
spread it out.
Yeah.
So you go, this target ignores cover and blast it. This target, I'll get +1 AP against. These guys, pulsar rocket, +1 AP. And so your whole army is just going to effectively be at +1 AP.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, special shells.
Special shells.
In your shooting phase, you pick an orc unit from your army, not selected to shoot yet. Every time it makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target within 18, +1 AP.
I mean, this is a good strat.
It's a good strat.
It's a good strat.
It's a
On like
really
a low
good
AP
strat.
army. Like, what are we doing?
Yes. So again, you combine this with ignores cover, you combine this with pulsar rockets. Your whole army is going to be at +1 AP relevantly. Because you go ignores cover against that target and +1 AP against that target and pulsar rocket there and pulsar rocket there and oh, you had armor of contempt. Like, you need to kill one unit. You just go +1 AP ignores cover, pulsar rocket. I'm AP4 ignores cover. Where's your armor of contempt at now? And then
Yep. And then lastly, we have call that Dakka. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has shot, you pick one orc unit from your army that has had one or more of its models destroyed, and then you get to immediately shoot back at that thing. It's a great strat to have in your pocket.
I forgot I had this during the game.
Right? Like if your opponent shoots you and chips you.
Oh my god, that would have been so good.
Right? Like, because they can't chip fire you.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Like, you have a squad of Ludas, you get shot, and you're just like, I lost 5 guys.
Okay, so let's just like recap really quick. We've talked about. We have one of the best detachment rules in the game.
Sustained hits 2 is sustained hits 1 would probably have been too good, like my opinion.
Agree. Yeah.
Sustained hits 2 is comical.
It's comically overpowered compared with an amazing set of enhancements.
Yes.
Paired with some of the best stratagems the game has currently to offer. Like not like one, like 4 of them.
And it's not like this is happening to like the trash parts of orcs, right? That needed
No, this
help.
is like the best parts of orcs.
Yeah, like if this was, I don't know, bikes, right? If this was the Speedwa detachment,
It would
which
be like,
exists.
it'd be good. It'd be a good detachment.
It'd be a good detachment. It'd be a good detachment. You give those buffs to things that are garbage, and that's fine. And then those garbage things, like Zograd's unit, right?
Yeah.
Zogrod gives the best suite of buffs in the game to one of the worst damage tanking units in the game.
Yeah.
You end up with a good unit. That's not what this is. This is giving direct buffs right in the arm of like the best parts of orcs.
This is like the tank buster flash get looted attachment, which we're like already seeing play.
Yes. Yeah. Tactical Brigade, and people are just going to like Tactical Brigade got nerfed compared to this. Like, people are going to do the start of Pirates of the Caribbean, like one of my favorite scenes of all time.
Oh, yeah.
As Jack Sparrow comes in on the sinking ship, and right as he hits dock, he just steps off.
Yeah.
And that is going to be people on Tactical Brigade moving over to More Dakka.
Because he's from the same army.
It's the same army,
But
just
wildly
better. Just better.
But like not even like a little better, like wildly better than an already like too good detachment.
Because, like, I had an issue with Tactical Brigade personally, which is that its damage was a little inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I would hear about how it just shatters people in shooting, and then I'd roll it on the table. I'd be like, 10 shots hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, I mean, it's fine, right? But it's not, like, great. You basically needed the SAG-mech to like do a lot of the heavy lifting into vehicles and monsters. And it's just not the case anymore. Like it just does kill you.
This is the best attachment in the game.
I agree.
It's not particularly close.
I am pretty confident that this immediately slots in as the best army in the game.
I don't think it's like close.
Yanari's good. It's a lot harder to tech for this than Yanari.
Well, the difference is like Yanari is like fiddly and tricks, but like you can tech and beat Yanari.
Yeah.
Like what beats this? You have like 12 units that all shoot too hard and are too tough and hit you in combat and are fight first. And are fast. Sorry.
Yeah, are fast.
I meant like hit you first.
Yeah. Hit you first. Yeah. We will have to see where things land.
Yeah.
Because it is definitely possible that we are wrong on this.
Yeah, we were wrong about Star Shatter.
We were wrong about Star Shatter. This is not Star Shatter.
This is way better than Star Shatter.
This shoots about as hard as Star Shatter. But it's a bunch of infantry units in transports moving fast through walls, shooting you, charging you, getting on objectives. Yeah. This is not Star Shatter. This shoots, but it also scores. And that's a problem. What I will say is that I think that you need to immediately start teching for this.
Yeah.
If you are planning to play anywhere, really. Like, you need to start teching for it. Take things that Tank Bustas and Ludas and whatnot aren't good at killing, because you're going to see a lot of those. Maybe things that can quickly pick up the Zodgrod brick, because I think everyone's going to be running that. It is probably the best unit in the list.
Yeah.
Because other things are kind of like cogs in a shooting machine that you can replace. But the Zodgrod unit does a role that nothing else really does, which is just on the turn I commit, your army is move blocked and tied up, and you don't hold objectives.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. I disagree that anything that hides behind walls and is fast beats this, because this has a ton of units and they're all in transports and they're fast and they can screen you out. So like, you definitely have to worry that, I send my 8-bound in, I took a chunk of flesh with it, and then I get blasted into the Shadow Realm. Yeah. Like, you have to worry about that. This is just really good.
It's just top to bottom.
It's just top to bottom. It's unnecessarily good. Like, the army did not need that at all.
The problem is it's like a bunch of raw efficiency stats on like efficient data sheets.
It's also in ways that compensate perfectly for the weaknesses of those data sheets.
The intentional weaknesses of data sheets.
Yeah, Tank Bustas hit on 5s, 4s into tanks. Cool. They don't need to hit on functionally 3s and 2s into tanks.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point where it is just too much. Like, yeah, they went up 15 points. Okay. Ludas are 10 points a model. 10 points a model. They hit on 6s. Full rerolls if you're targeting an objective. And that is fair to pretty good on their data sheet if you're playing in like a shooting army, right? Yeah. It's fair. It's not like that great, but it's fair. If you can compensate for their low AP, and compensate for their bad hit rate, then they're just a 10-point unit that pumps out a ton of 8-1-2.
Yeah, what are we doing here?
Yeah, which you can make 8-2-2 ignores cover if you really need to, and is a million re-rolling to hit shots as soon as you touch an objective.
Yeah,
which you can then staple a SAG-mech to, who then functionally hits on 3s. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. You can just rip apart armies with this, 100%.
Like a turn.
Yeah. So we need to immediately start teching for it, finding answers for it, but we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, I'll figure that out.
We're going to be doing that. We're going to figure out how to play into more Dakka, because there is a way. This is not nearly the most powerful army that the 10th edition has seen.
No, this is not like the Wraith Knight Eldar.
No.
It's just too good.
It's just too good. And so we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
But if you want to figure out how to play into it, if you want to figure out how to play with it, again, I would recommend checking out
the War Room.
The War Room, link in the description below for a free 3-day trial. You can check out that game that's coming out on Friday. You can check out our current discussion. There's a list video that is going to go up, I believe, tomorrow, where I go over where my head is currently at with more Dakka. And I think it's a very good.
Is your head full of guns? Just
Yes. Yes. But it's about how you deliver the guns. That's really is brutal but cunning. All right. We got some super chats. We got Jesus with a $5 super chat. Says, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being Dakka and 10 being Dakka, how much Dakka is this Dakka? I Dakka, therefore I am. Been an Ork player all my life.
I think this is Dakka.
I think it's Dakka. Yeah. For sure. It's like a 12.
12, yeah.
Or a 0, depending on which one's highest.
Yeah, it's a 12 or a 0.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty Dakka, I'll tell you that. But yeah, you'll probably have some good fun.
I feel like
with this,
Dakka is
Jay.
going to be like a word that like TikTok kids are going to say in like 6 to 8 months.
I'll get this one, you get the next one.
Okay. Did we skip one? No, we didn't. We're good.
Nope. Ricky Chow with a $2 super chat says Dakka, 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 Dakka.
Ricky Chow also says Dakka, 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 Dakka. You best keep counting. Dakka, 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 Dakka.
You missed 2.
Dakka, Dakka.
There you go. Thank you, Ricky. Sam White, $5 super chat says 100 points of Ludus picks up 17 Marines on an objective with 1 CP plus 1 AP. Wow.
Yeah, like what are we doing?
They're hilariously efficient data sheets.
So like what is happening?
With these buffs, they legitimately need to be minimum 150 points
Yeah.
for a unit of 10. 100 points is 300 points for 30 of these guys is almost as cheap as boys. But they have a heavy bolter on them. And now they hit like they're a Marine with a heavy bolter, basically.
Yeah. I like the thing about orcs was like
strength 8.
Every time you were like, oh yeah, they have too many shots at good stats, but they hit on like 6s. And that was fine, right? Because mathematically they were like the same as other armies. Now they're just like mathematically better than everybody else.
Yeah, so you have, out of this unit, you have 6 shots hitting on 5s with sustained 2, full rerolls to hit at, I believe, 9, 2, D6.
Yeah.
So it's 6 shots of that. And then you have 24 shots at 8, 1, 2, which is like 20 hits on average, which is, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's like 6, 7 hits. It's like 6 hits, I think, at 9, 2, D6, and then like 20 hits at 8, 1, 2, and you can buff the AP and the
ignores cover. Yeah.
And that for 100 points flat, right? That's no character in there, by the way. You can put a Sag Mech in there, and then that dude just goes and just like deletes anything he looks at.
They're also like still T5, right? Like they're not like free to kill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, they are not easy to kill, especially in the WA. And then if you shoot, you roll a little good on saves, you're like, oh, I have 6 guys left. And you're looking awful objective-y.
Yeah.
Now, the nice part of this detachment, and the reason you probably won't actually do that,
is you don't get the sustain 2.
You don't get the sustained 2. This is critical. You don't get the sustained 2 outside of your shooting phase.
Yes.
So, you don't get it on Overwatch. You don't get it when you shoot back. You don't get it when shooting out of a vehicle, right? Out of a transport. If they had those rules in effect, if it was just all the time your ranged weapons got it on everything, the army would, I mean, it'd be better. I don't know. What am I trying to say? But at least it does not Overwatch well, and it does not shoot well out of the transports. It still shoots decently out of the transports, just not crazy.
Yeah.
So those are weaknesses to try to exploit. The shoot back, for example, wouldn't have sustained 2. It would just be normal.
Yeah. Which is still like decent.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Greg Lambert says, there's only one of my friends who I'd feel okay using this Juggernaut detachment against. He will be sacrificed on the altar of Mork.
I wish him luck.
Yes. All right. Red Rum. I've been on World Eaters since the start of the year, and this new detachment in Slate makes your boy big sad.
Yeah.
They will shoot the hell out of World Eaters.
It's a nice 3-wound infantry you got there.
You really just gotta hope they fail their fallback checks.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. If they don't fail their fallback checks, they fall back with whatever you tagged, and then whatever they have left, which is likely to be a decent amount because they're all gonna be playing out of transports, will blast.
Yeah.
Which is very, very nasty.
Yeah. Sam White, how much melee are y'all running in here? 2 to 3 units? Probably like, I don't know, maybe take like a unit of knobs or something like that.
I would honestly say probably no dedicated melee.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, Flash gets kind of punch.
Flash gets at 5 attacks at 6/11, full rerolls to win against objectives.
That's not nothing.
No, that is enough melee, in my opinion. Also, Zodgrod is like a weirdly good melee unit.
Yeah.
So with that, you have enough melee to get your opponent off of you if they like try and step to you. You have enough to get them off you or go through walls, clear objectives on your go turn. I don't think you need like knobs or breakaboys or anything like that. That doesn't really synergize as well because I just don't think you need them.
I think you just take like list, divide by guns, and just kill your opponent.
Not quite. I think you take list divided by guns. with like 400 points carved out for backfield holding, wet blanketing your opponent on your go turn, and doing not even doing actions because you got a bunch of trucks for that. Yeah. That's totally fine. Doing actions is easy. It's for running through walls and taking objectives. Yeah. So things like 5-man flash kits are still pretty good because they can just run onto an objective on your wall turn, shoot, charge, and clear it, and just give your opponent zeros while the game is happening. Yeah. Zograd's really good at that as well. I've sung his praises, and Storm Boys are also pretty good for that.
Yes.
Because you do also have the advantage of your orcs. You're fairly cheap. You can screen your opponent back into their deployment zone turn over turn.
Yeah, these units are like 100 points.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing? Okay.
All right. Well, that is everything. That is it for us for today. We got one more detachment ready to go. It's going to be me and Siegs. We're going to be covering the Tau.
Exciting.
Like experimental cadre or something like that. They have all the funny guns. Yeah. It's going to be very funny. Yeah. I mean, if you want to see all of these in action, you can check out the War Room. And we'll be right back with the last detachment.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you around and have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.